Good evening and welcome to the second weekend, the Centrepiece weekend of the 6th edition of the Lonavala International Film Festival. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here. We are here together, gathered to pay a tribute to the great filmmaker Shakti Samanta. And I have here with me Shaktida's son Ashim Samanta. I have here with me our festival director Madhav Todi. I have with me dear friends Mr. Jyotin Goel and DJ Divya Solgama. I have Monty Nath, who's been a friend for a very, very long time. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you. We are ready to move into our second weekend. And whereas last weekend we paid a tribute to the magic of the films that Shaktida had done with Shami Kapoor, this weekend we will focus on the magic of his cinema with Rajesh Khanna. And the three films we've chosen today, Aradhana, tomorrow, Amar Prem, and on Sunday, Kati Patang, is a tribute to the magic of four people who came together. Rajesh Khanna, Shakti Samanta, R.D. Burman, and Kishore Kumar. And the memories and the magic of the music of these three films remains even today. There is no party which ends at 2 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of people who are now grey and old, but who will sit and sing Chingari Koi Bhatke. And it's incredible how these songs haven't lost their magic. I want to ask, starting with Ashim ji. Ashim sir, after making a series of successful films with Shami Kapoor, what made Shaktida switch to Rajesh Khanna? He was not even, he had been launched already by GPCP in Raz. And I know that United Producers had all signed him together. But, there were so many other young actors who were waiting to go. There was Jitendra, there were others.
Yeah, actually what happened is Dad started Jaane Anjane with Shami Kapoor, Vinod Khanna and Leena Chandavarkar. And because Shami uncle had put on a lot of weight, so Dad told him, Shami, I cannot accommodate you on 35 mm. You better reduce. So he said, give me 3 months. So after 3 months, he had put on more weight. Give me another 3 months. Then Dad thought that while I wait for him to slim down, let me make a small budget movie. And so he asked Nasir Sahab, can I see that 2 reels of that Rajesh Khanna movie that you're making? And
Baharo Ke Sapne.
Baharo Ke Sapne. He saw 2 reels and he was very impressed. So then he decided to cast him, and he had heard this beautiful story from Sachin Bhaumik about 10 years before that. And he remembered the story even after 10 years. So he thought, if I remember the story after 10 years, it definitely must be good. So he decided to make that story. And 2 days before the movie started, Surinder Kapoor, Anil Kapoor's father, he told him, they were all famous those days. He told him to see one reel of, the last 2 reels of Ek Shriman, Ek Shrimati. Dad saw that. And Tato to Khun Nahi. The last 2 reels were absolutely similar to what Sachin Bhaumik had written, original climax of Aradhana. So, coincidentally, Gulshan Nanda and Madhusudan Kalalkar were sitting in the office at Famous, because Madhusudan Kalalkar was the writer of Jaane Anjane.
Okay.
And Gulshan Nanda had written Savan Ki Gata before that. So he came there and told them that I can't start Aradhana because the climax is same. Called up Sachin Bhaumik and told him, what the hell is this? So he said, no, only the climax is same, everything else is different. It's not even the same, it's similar. I don't want to make the movie. And because Rajesh Khanna and Sharmila are already there, so I want to start a movie after 2 days. Gulshan ji, do you have any story ready? He said, yes, I have Kati Patang. He heard the story, he said, damn good. I'm starting this movie after 2 days. Meanwhile, Gulshan Nanda and Madhusudan Kalalkar said, narrate to us what is Aradhana. Sachin said the last 2 reels are similar, so we can change the climax. So he narrated the story and it was damn good. So he said, let's change the last story. And they started discussing, and it was about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. By 10 o'clock, they made a new second half altogether. And probably Rajesh Khanna was not there in the second half. It became a double role in that afternoon. And the climax totally changed. So that day, which started with very shaky grounds, turned out to be a super duper day because Aradhana became a much better script. And Kati Patang was in our.
Also, yes. So in one day they got a great Aradhana, they got a Kati Patang, and it must have been a day of celebration.
Absolutely.
I must tell you one thing that I remember, and I do this and I talk to my students about it. The music was memorable, but I will get Divya to talk about the music. The fact that Roop Tera Mastana was shot as a single take with one camera, and it was a very long song. It was not a small song at all.
It's about 4.5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you all manage? You had to use a jumbo reel. You did it. It was deliberately done as a single take.
No, it
how
was.
Did that song happen?
They used a Mitchell camera. Mitchell, you can. Mitchell, you can have 1,000 feet drone. What happened is, firstly, I wanted to clear everybody's misconception that R.D. Burman gave a couple of songs. All the songs were composed by S.D. Burman.
Yes.
Nothing was composed by R.D. Burman. Yes, for Roop Tera Mastana, 2 tunes were made. And both were damn good tunes, not like the way Amit Kumar says. It was not that way. It was, both were very good tunes.
Even Kaka claimed that Pancham was there. Yeah.
No, I'll just tell you.
No, it has a distinct
background signature. Pancham did the background music, not the songs. But Pancham used to be there for the settings also because he was the assistant. So both the songs were there in the setting, and Sachinda asked Dad, I've got 2 tunes, so which do you prefer? So say one is A tune, one is B tune. Dad said, Dad believed in Sachin Burman very much. He had great regards for him. So I asked him, Dada, which do you prefer? So he said the tune B is better. So he said, okay, we'll record the tune B. Though in his heart, he preferred the tune A. And then he was going down the stairs. Panchamda came behind him and told him, Dada, you chose the wrong one. The tune A is better. He said, even I like the tune A. So tell Baba we'll do the tune A. Then I won't tell him. You come and tell him. So Dad went back and told Sachinda, we'll do the tune A. He said, okay, fine. And that's how. Then he came home after the recording and he kept listening to that song 5-7 times. And then he decided that I should not have a lip sync of this song. I should have it in the background. And I should shoot it in one shot, otherwise the impact of the song will be lost. So it was decided after the song was recorded, when he heard it 7 times, that I should shoot it in one single shot. Then he asked the production fellow to find out who has got round trolleys and the bigger ones. So he found out that Gurudat had one round trolley, Gurudat Productions, and Dev Saab had another round trolley. There were only 2 round trolleys in the industry. So the bigger one was, I think, Gurudat. So he asked for that. Then he, on the day of the shoot, one day before the shoot, they did the lighting and they did the rehearsal of the camera and the lighting. Next day, with Sharmila and Rajesh, they did 2-3 rehearsals. Then took one shot, which was already, first shot was okay. But a safety shot ke liye, they took the second shot, which was not okay. Then they took the third shot, which was okay. And by 1 o'clock, it was back up. But told both of them, you all relax. The negative is going to Film Center for processing. They processed it, printed it, and by 5 o'clock, it was at Natraj in our editing room. And they did not have to edit because it was one single shot.
Yeah.
Did the marking of the first frame for sync, and they saw the song. So by 6 o'clock, they saw the song. They said, "Fantastic!" Dismantle the set. That was it.
Fantastic. I tell you, these are the stories make it worthwhile for me to know that I'm proud of being in the film industry.
And
Divya,
I
This is the way they are working these days, which Shakti uncle did it then. Their passion for work, it was amazing. Yeah? Shooting and editing and seeing everything on the same day.
No, it was fabulous, Monty. It was absolutely an outstanding way to work. And
Yes.
they did it without any internet, without any smartphones, without any
Yes.
emails. It
Yes.
was incredible. I remember
Yes.
Mehboob Studio had one public phone in the office and we had to use that.
Yes.
But I also remember my friend Renu Saluja, the editor, saying that the best projectionist in Bombay is at Mehboob Studio, as at Natraj Studio. So whenever we saw rushes there, that man had magic. One camera to the other attack and you could not make out that reels had changed. It was incredible.
Viveck, did you
I
notice
would-
one thing before you continue? I'll just point out something which Ashim said. Yeah, Ashim. Ashim mentioned that this is of course one shot. This whole thing, but the interesting thing is that he mentioned that it was a Mitchell camera because the Mitchell camera had 1,000 feet in it, right? In the roll. Now a Mitchell camera did not have a zoom lens attached. They were all aspheric lenses.
Yes.
So you are looking at a shot at a song that has been picturized with the camera constantly in motion, and there is no frame adjustment going on with the cameraman adjusting the frame with the zoom lens. So it's all in block lenses. There's one block lens, and that is moving around, and you have the characters moving around at the same time. So you can imagine the virtuosity of everybody involved to get
I
that.
remember that round trolley shot.
Incredible.
Where the
It's
trolley is
koi
going
kala
in
bolte
the
hain
other
na.
It's
direction.
amazing. The artistry,
And
the
trolley is going in the
virtuosity is
other
on a
direction.
different level altogether.
And then they stand up. Then the trolley goes back.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Amazing, the
I
whole.
must tell you how many times I have watched that song in the hope of finding one wire on the floor, in the hope of finding one cutter up there, in the hope that somewhere someone slipped and I get this, what I call a Ben-Hur moment, because you could see a car, but no, nothing at all. Nothing
But I
at all.
want to ask Ashim one thing. Was this taken in like how many did the retakes take place for this?
I told you just 3 shots.
Yeah,
Huh?
three.
3 shots.
3 takes.
3
Three
takes.
takes.
Yeah.
Three takes.
2 were complete takes.
Huh.
And 1 was cut in between.
Okay.
But isn't it
remember-
amazing thing that when you have a film like Angamani Diaries and people are raving about the climax that it's been shot in 1 take and we did this, Shakti Samanta did this long back in 69 and that to this entire song. It's such a romantic song. Yeah.
Whereas Shakti uncle, I remember I've seen him. I've worked with this combination with Kakaji and Shakti
Yes.
under his
In
direction.
Abbas, I remember.
Awaz.
So I've seen them working. They were Aradhna mein jab unhone dekho, he took that risk taking a newcomer and making a double role film with a newcomer. You need guts, yeah. A filmmaker needs guts. And I saw हालांकि उसमें काका जी जो आवाज में गाना मेरे ख्याल से 1-2 ही थे. I saw him, showing Kaka, you do it like this. Shakti Da was literally showing Kakaji, like he must be showing in Aradhna also. In Awaz, I've seen him showing him, like Mehbooba or Gana. They did 9 films together. Na? So the magic was in 9 films. And I saw in Mehboob Studio में वो कर रहे थे गाना. वो Shakti Da was, playing the guitar and showing Kaka tu इस तरह कर. These are the visionary makers, yeah. I've literally grown up on Shakti Da. I used to go with my uncles, Shami Kapoor and Rajendra Nath for evening in Paris shooting. My association with Shakti film started with Ashim's film, with his directorial debut. But I really love Shakti Da, and I really miss him a lot, you know. And apparently today we are talking about the music of Aradhna. Today happens to be the 115th birth anniversary of S.D. Burman,
SD Burman, yeah.
which everybody is going to see his song. This film, Aradhna, still looks fresh today.
Oh, yes, absolutely. In fact, I wanted to come to another thing, Divya.
Ji.
Ashim sir, Roop Tera Mastana, with the jeep and Darjeeling and the train. And apparently Sharmila Tagore was not on the train, that was on a separate set.
Yeah, she couldn't come because she was shooting with Satyajit Ray. She couldn't say no to him.
Yeah.
Though dad had her dates, but she started crying and she said, Shaktida, I can't say no to Satyajit Ray. He brought me into the industry, this, that, and all that. Dad got angry and told her, okay, go, get off, get lost. And then took her shots in Bombay in Natraj studio. He made one
Train set.
On the outdoors of Natraj, and he shot it there.
You know, this is
But
very
it's seamless.
That's
So
very,
it's
very
not
interesting
only the
thing.
virtuosity of the cameraman, it is
Right.
also the edit. It was incredible until you really looked with a fine-tooth comb and suddenly said, oh, there are no shots of Sharmila Tagore and Rajesh Khanna together. There are shots of the jeep and the train. There are shots of Rajesh Khanna, of Sharmila Tagore, Agatha Christie book of all things. I'm an Agatha Christie fan. So I noticed that first. And the music was incredible. Divya, tell us about the music of Anand.
So Vivek, before going to the music, again, I'll say, I have mentioned this thing last time also, Shakti Samanta was a fabulous filmmaker who used to shoot his songs with a very different vision. And Aradhna is the biggest example of that. This song, which we mentioned out here, you know, before this, always the songs on trains were very Jiao Jiao were there and other songs were there. But this one will be remembered forever and ever. Rajesh Khanna, and whenever you go to Darjeeling, you go to Ooty or everything, and if you are passing by a train, automatically aapke zehen mein ye gana bajta hi bajta hai. That's the impact of this song. Then again, coming to the other songs and everything. And as Monty said, SD Burman Saab ki aaj birth anniversary hai. So I did a very interesting trivia about the song which got him first and the only national award. That too for playback singing. You know, and that was Safal Hogi Teri Aradhna. So मैंने कहीं पढ़ा था कि पंचम दा ने बहुत सारे musicians को बुलाया था and he was arranging everything, assisting him. तो SD Burman said कि नहीं इतने लोग नहीं चाहिए and he cut down to some 10 to 11 musicians.
No, I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Sachinda had told Pancham, I want these many, that is 14 musicians. And when he went there, he counted 15.
Right.
He said that I don't want 15. I told
The 15th.
why 15 has come. So he got angry. So dad told Pancham Das softly, usko payment de denge, usko bolo bahar jaane ko
But again, you know, the moment you talk about Aradhna, of course, the music is there. We have got Kishore Kumar back with this film. And the first thing is, hey, 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 aha, aha. That thing will never go away. और एक और जो चीज cinematic way में जो हुआ था with this movie, and that is with Rajesh Khanna's entry, suddenly the romantic heroes of that time, Rajendra Kumar, Shami Kapoor, who were romancing the younger girls and who were in college days and doing Mere Mehboob and all those things, who suddenly aged लगने लग गए, you know. This happened when Anil Kapoor was romancing and suddenly the Khans came. He started becoming in the second slot. So this happened with Rajendra Kumar, Shami Kapoor, and you can see the films also slowly going down. And that's when people wanted the young blood and they wanted the young guys. And then you had this duplicate Rajesh Khanna Cummings and all those things happened. So that was the biggest impact. The 69 changed the face. Of course, 70s is known for multi-starrers and those action-oriented films. But the romance, the true sense of romance started with Aradhna.
Romance was basically Shakti Samant. He was the romantic man.
Correct.
Rajesh Khanna was the face in front, but the real romance was Shakti Da. You know,
Monty, I so agree.
like Kishore Kumar.
I really agree with you.
Correct.
We are talking about Kishore Da coming back with this combination. You know, Do Jisam Ek Jaan, Rajesh Khanna and Kishore Kumar. This was created by Shakti Samant. And Shakti Da, for the other character, जो duplicate of the दूसरा जो Rajesh Khanna था, young Rajesh Khanna, उसमें मोहम्मद रफी sang for him. Romance था उधर भी था.
And what a song, Bago Mein Bahar. I just love that song. इतना प्यारा गाना है कि जब तक वो गाना खत्म होता है, even you start doing it na 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 करके.
Yes. So
the interesting thing about this that we're discussing, there's a duality in Shakti Da's career which parallels the film industry in a strange kind of inverse relationship. In 1969, that Divya mentioned, that was the high water mark of these social films. You know, the big hits were Ek Phool Do Mali, Jeene Ki Raah, Aradhana, and Do Raaste in 1969. Never since then has the social film dominated the film industry. Next year was the year of Johnny Mera Naam, and it changed everything. It made the crime film popular.
Yeah.
So what happened was that you had the Shakti Da making Chinatown and making these fun films, these frothy films. You had Evening in Paris, you had Kashmir Ki Kali, and suddenly he comes out with this emotional masterpiece, Aradhana. And his career changes. He starts making Amar Prem, Kati Patang, Anurag, Manush, and the film industry takes a somersault and starts making Johnny Mera Naam and all those films, Victoria 203, that kind of film, the Salim Javed crime thriller.
Salim Javed kind of, crime comedy.
So it's exactly inverse. And
True.
Absolutely, Shakti Da defies that trend and keeps making these films and just blows the ceiling up.
Shakti Da basically himself was a musical man. And Evening in Paris also, he's starting the film with the titles, with Shami Uncle singing the title song. And, and I remember, Ashim will correct me if I'm wrong, after shooting, Rajesh Khanna, R.D. Burman, they used to sit at Shakti Da's house.
Yeah.
They used to create tunes. ऐसे नहीं ये बने ऐसे ये अमर प्रेम और कटी पतंग. There's been a lot of work behind it, a lot of teamwork, a lot of passion. Am I right, Ashim?
About Aradhana.
Also, Kishore Kumar calling Rajesh Khanna and asking him to talk so that he can learn the mannerism. These are stories like we have all grown up to.
And the impact of Aradhana, there's a particular reason. There's a secret sauce in that thing. If you look at the first half of Aradhana, you have 1 hour solid of only scenes with Rajesh Khanna and Sharmila Tagore, Flight Lieutenant Arun and Vandana. Just 2 shots. The intensity of the romance is such in the first hour. Even if you see other characters coming in, that particular scene, the Rajesh Khanna or Sharmila Tagore interacting with any other character is talking about either Rajesh Khanna or Sharmila Tagore. So you just see this thing in the first hour. And that intensity that develops in the first hour, when the first Rajesh Khanna is off screen and the second Rajesh Khanna comes in as a son of Sharmila Tagore, you have a dual kind of thing happening simultaneously. You have the mother-son relationship happening, and you have that hey happening. So you have the lover constantly there. So you have the love story rerunning, and you have the mother-son running. So you have 2 separate tracks of emotions running together, and that takes it on a different emotional level altogether.
Yeah, now coming back to the script, the script that hey, they're keeping this parallel track. This is the director's contribution.
Absolutely,
that is really the director's contribution. In the second track, like 1 hour ke baad,
you normally have love or you have emotions. Here you have both happening together. The mother-son track and story running parallel.
Yes, that goes full credit goes to Shakti Da.
So Ashim, I need to confirm a couple of things, which there are so many stories and myths around Aradhana. One was that originally the title was Vandana. Was it true? And Asha Parekh was offered the role.
No.
No.
I'm not sure about Asha Parekh being offered the role. I didn't hear about that. I think Aparna Sen.
Right, Aparna Sen, Asha Parekh both were there. Then Vandana ka ek hai. And third is, in South, this movie was the first Hindi film which ran for 3 years.
Yeah, In the South, before Aradhana, Hindi movies had zero market.
Right. And this started, and after that, of course, you had Amar Akbar Anthony and Sholay and other stuffs playing. But this was the first film which, like 3 years, it was a biggest hit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why, Ashim, sorry to move on. Why was your father partial to the Roxy cinema, considering it wasn't even air conditioned? Aradhana was in Roxy, and then Amar Prem was at Roxy, and then Kati Patang was also at Roxy, and Anurodh was also at Roxy.
I guess he
Just
considered
thought it was
it,
a lucky cinema.
I think it was, he must have considered it lucky or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. He must have. Ashim, your brother's film Rishta Ka Viska was at Roxy.
You're talking to me.
Dobby.
Yeah, Dobby, sorry.
No, but so was Ek Phool Do Mali.
And yes, and so was Aadmi Sadak Ka.
And Aradhana came it was consecutive. First you had Ek Phool Do Mali, Silver Jubilee, then you had Aradhana.
Yes, Ek Phool Do Mali did a Silver Jubilee.
Yeah.
Then Aradhana, then Amar Prem, and your brothers Rishta Ka Viska and Aadmi Sadak Ka. What is it about Jyotin Goel and Shakti Samanta that they love Roxy so much?
The two cinemas at that time, which were ideal for social films,
Okay.
and Opera House. I
Yes.
think Amar Prem was in the Opera House, right, Ashim?
No. Amar Prem was Roxy.
Roxy.
Anurag was
I
Opera
remember
House.
it being at Opera House.
Which one? Aradhana, Amar Prem, and Kati Patang were all at Roxy.
Okay.
Anurag was Opera House.
Okay.
Monty or Avaz was at Opera House.
Okay.
Yes.
So these were the two films, the theaters, and coincidentally, they were directly across the road from each other.
Yeah.
Directly across the road. So I always understood that if there is a railway station near a cinema, it's always good for the particular cinema because of transport and because people sit in a movie.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's why our Capitol was such an iconic cinema, getting houses.
Yes.
And that is why Dilwale placed itself in the matinee for 100 years at the Maratha Mandir, with due respect to Bombay Central. But I do agree with you because I saw all these films at the Roxy, and whereas it was not air conditioned, it had everything else. There was a nice balcony, there was a smoking area with potted plants. It was a reasonably big screen. The sound was crystal clear. It was all good. Aadmi Sadak Ka was a surprise hit there.
The interesting thing about Aadmi Sadak Ka was that my father and all of us went to see the film in what was that? The cinema in Andheri, the triple cinema.
Amber Oscar Minor.
So we went to Amber to see the film, and we had a half-empty show, the first show, because the film had no star cast at all, and except for Shatrughan Sinha. And then so we were all a little unnerved by that. So my dad said, "I'm going to the 3 o'clock show at Roxy." So he went directly from Andheri to Roxy to see Aadmi Sadak Ka there, and he came back with a big grin on his face. He said, "We have nothing to worry about." And of course, it was a Silver Jubilee.
I must do the unpleasant task of bringing the discussion to an end. But quickly, Viveck, since you've been asking the panelists all the questions, I think I'll put one question to you. And this is more for our younger viewers. You mentioned Jubilees, Silver Jubilee. I'm not too sure many of our younger viewers would know the concept of Silver Jubilee, Golden Jubilee, Platinum Jubilee. So please clarify that.
I'll explain to them. When a film ran for 25 weeks at the same cinema, it was considered a Silver Jubilee bona fide hit. It would sometimes break its run. So the first milestone was the 100th day. In the 15th week, a film would celebrate 100 days. Then in the 25th week, it would celebrate its Silver Jubilee. In the 50th week, it celebrated its Golden Jubilee. In the 60th week, it celebrated its Diamond Jubilee. And in its 75th week, it celebrated its Platinum Jubilee. And in its 100th week, and yes, we have seen 100-week runners also, it celebrated its centenary. But sometimes you would break cinema. So Diwar, for example, ran from week 1 to week 25 straight and houseful, from Republic Day to Independence Day at the Minerva. On Independence Day in 1975, Sholay came and Diwar was shifted to the Moti talkies, where it ran from week 26 to week 50. And it celebrated its Golden Jubilee at Moti, and it shifted in the 51st week to the Liberty and matinee shows. And it ran for 51 weeks there, celebrated its centenary in the Liberty matinee. So we had our milestones. Nowadays, you count it with crores, 100 crores, 200 crores, 500 crores,
And now
which is
it's
very deceptive because when a film does 300 crores, 60 crores of which goes to the government, and then from the remaining 240 crores, the theatre takes away 200 crores as its rent, you're really left with nothing, to be honest. But that is a separate discussion. I much prefer the Jubilee milestone, and Divya will agree with me that
Totally.
when we said 25th Silver Jubilee Week, it was something to really be proud of. So
Okay.
with that, thank you all.
Asim ji, just
I
one
just wanted to
question.
show one ad of Aradhana.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you can read it.
Yes.
In its 15th week or something, all houseful throughout.
All right.
Yes, so I have an ad, Ashim, which I've actually put up on Instagram and all of you can see it. It has the first 10 weeks figures of Aradhana at Roxy, and it's the identical figure. Now, the only way the figure can be identical week after week after week after week after week is when it's absolutely houseful. So when a film is running at 100% capacity, it has to have the same figure being collected every week. And 10 weeks figures at Roxy, 55,900 and something per week was exactly the same for the first 10 weeks. For the first 10 weeks, Aradhana did not take the houseful board off from the Roxy. It was an incredible achievement.
And Bandra Talkies.
And Bandra Talkies, yes. Bandra Talkies, in fact, was another very classy family audience theatre in Bandra. Not Nandi, not Neptune, not New Talkies could boast of the kind of gentry that Bandra Talkies used to have. On that note,
question, sorry, Vivek, I'm pushing this, but I need to, we need to start the film also. Just one quick question to Ashim ji is, what is the location name for the shooting of Mere Sapno Ki Rani? That's one of the viewers. Sorry?
Darjeeling.
They've asked specifically for a location name, which I don't fully understand what that question means, but if you can throw some light on that.
No, it was
Darjeeling.
It was shot on the way to Darjeeling. There is a train from Siliguri to Darjeeling, and we shot it in Darjeeling, approaching Darjeeling. From Kalimpong to Darjeeling.
I hope that answers the query. Thank you very much, Ashim ji. Thank you, Divya ji, Monty ji, Jyotin ji, Vivek. Jyotin ji, I've not forgotten this time.
Yes. I'm just contacting my lawyer and restoring you to my will.
Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you.
See you all and see you all tomorrow. See you, Divya, Ashim. Thank you. This was a fabulous.
Thank you.
Cheers to Shaktida. Cheers to Dada Burman, SD Burman.
Ooh.